Hello, everybody. I believe we're all live now. I want to welcome you back to our second installment today, 1 o'clock, Wednesday, March 25th, Halifax time. I have with me my colleague, Hamza. He's going to be monitoring the chat, so feel free to ask as many questions. Let's keep the communication in the chat flowing. Feel free to look at it like a conversation and a community effort, not a question answer period. So just feel free. Any thoughts, any ideas? Let's contribute to the overall thought process and investigate each other's thoughts. Okay. Uh, give you guys a quick overview about what we're trying to do here. So, of course, my name is Mahar Kasim. Work at Modest3. The product we're trying to show you guys here today is called Modest3D Xplorer. It's meant to be a rapid creation tool to create 3D presentations, virtual reality presentations, augmented reality presentations in a very quick and short time. It's also meant to have a enterprise level access, so whatever you create locally can be shared and distributed globally. And of course, depending on what hardware your end user may have, whether it's a high end VR capable PC, a mobile device, a VR device, augmented reality, or just a tablet or plain mobile phone, all these users can just log in and join in with their current hardware with no need to upgrade. To give you a quick overview of Explorer, the product, it's a rapid authoring tool with the ability to streamline the development cycle to hours instead of weeks. It's a really powerful tool that we're going to get into right now. So to start off here, I would like to bring you first into the environment that we've created in Explorer, an experience that we'll experience together. And after we finish this, we will jump into the editor version of Explorer, where you'll actually see the presentation take life. We actually created slide by slide, piece by piece. So without any further ado, I will just log in here, and of course we can go over the UI a little bit later once if we have any people registering right now for the webinar, if they register for the software and download it and download the lesson. Towards the end, we can have a live demo where we invite everyone in the same environment for us to experience it together instead of just watching me talk about it. So in this case here, I'll log on as a single user. Under let me just jump back here. I'll do a multi-user and I'll invite one of my colleagues in here with me, so to kind of jump right into the multiplayer and cross-platform, because I am doing this off my personal computer while my colleague is going to be logging on a mobile device. We'll go from there. So auditorium, trade show, launch that. I'm looking for demo 1 user. Now notice on the bottom left here it says check for VR. Our system is intelligent enough that if I had a VR capable PC and I hit check VR, it will automatically check if VR is an option, and if it is, it will launch my environment with VR capabilities. But here I don't have a VR connected, so it told me immediately that no, you cannot. There's no VR detected. So I will just launch, and this will not launch now natively for me in my PC. And my colleague, like I said, they're joining with a mobile device, so the system is smart enough to actually reduce the level of fidelity to the scene or the environment. Let me just mute myself. So I will experience the environment, of course, in full fidelity because I have a computer. But my colleague, because they're logging in only on a mobile device, they will get to experience the environment in a lower fidelity, but it will be barely noticeable unless you know exactly what you're looking for. So right here, you'll see that we're both navigating the environment. Of course, this is a trade show layout, but think about this location here as a 3D menu. So it's a place to access the different private rooms and the different areas you want to go to. But in this case here, we did a trade show floor, but this could be easily a digital college. It could be a room, a hallway filled with rooms. It doesn't really matter as long as that 3D model will act as a 3D menu to take you from A to B, and B might be a lesson and be a marketing focused lesson, training focused lesson, or a sales multi-user environment where you can invite all your different clients, sales teams, and so on. So some features that we have built in here are, of course, some question and answer built in. So the idea is if you have frequently asked questions that are always being asked to your teammates, whether it's for sales or marketing or training, you can have these questions already preloaded and built in, so they can wrap up one question and answer period much quicker. Of course, if I switch this now, you will see that it has a video. If I press the icon, it will play a video that I'm trying to highlight a product or a demo or whatever it is that I'm trying to show at this environment. And the final thing is you can show, of course, images, still images of your business card. So this will be a feature that we're adding right now currently in Xplorer from the feedback of our clients and from government entities that we worked with, that they want the ability to handshake with another person in a digital environment, and that handshake will initiate a private conversation, so not everybody hears what you guys say. Because when you're inside this open hall, the lobby or the 3D label, 3D menu, is if people are having conversations, you'll actually be able to hear the feedback from them. So it'll get quite noisy, just like a trade show floor would. So the best way to do this, of course, is private rooms or private meetings. So now my colleague is over here floating around, but let's say I want to bring him and focus him to this banner because we've seen something cool here or something of points of interest. So I'll jump into my menu real quick, and we'll go through all these once we start jumping into different lessons. But right now, the one I want to show to you is group teleport. So if my colleagues are over there and I have clients over there on the staircase, everybody's checking out their own environment, but I want to bring their attention here, I simply click on the group teleport. When I click on the ground, I will see an arrow. The arrow will represent the point of view they're going to be looking towards, and that yellow line is where the people I teleport will stand. So in this case, I want them to stand in parallel with that banner, and I want the point of view they're looking towards is towards that banner using that flag. So once I do that, you'll notice that they immediately teleport to this location, and now I can have a conversation with them here. And of course, I can teleport them in different ways, an arc around the point of interest, or a circle around it. It all depends on exactly what thing I want to show better. So for example, if the item I want to show is in the middle, then I can bring the whole group around that in a circle. Now from this environment, as I mentioned, I can launch a separate environment or a separate lesson already integrated. So in this case here, I will take myself and my colleague up into the auditorium room, and here I can teleport them again so they know, I don't confuse them. I don't want to teleport someone to a position they don't know what's happening, or they'll think that I'm playing around with them. So here, I'll bring them here and I'll tell them where to look. In this case now I brought my colleague with me. And now from in this menu, of course, we can make it that interacting with the door to the auditorium will take you there, but just for simplicity's sake, we have it here built in as a separate lesson. So now we'll jump to the auditorium. You should see a loading screen, and if it all goes well, I'll see you on the other side. So while this is happening now, it's maybe a good idea that my friend Hamza can share with you in the chat a link. Whoop, let me first unmute. Apologies. My friend can share with you a link, so if anybody wants to download Xplorer, it's going to be offered for the next 3 months to help us all out in this difficult time. We're offering it for free for all users, whether it's private entity, commercial application, or government entities. It's fully for free. So now that I have inside this environment with me, on the left-hand menu, you will see that I have these pre-made slides. This would be the equivalent of my 3D presentation. So instead of having to click on a, I don't want to say outdated, but a 2D presentation, we find that 3D will really capture the imagination, especially of today's youth. And in this case here, of course, because we're in a 3D environment, I can interact with everything, including the boards, screens, and of course, we can implement video into the environment to have our own private demo space. Plus, I can add video and audio with a 3D model in the focus. So now we have a 3D model here in the focus, and this is where the power of Xplorer comes in. So if you are looking for a product that will just do video conferencing, there's a lot of things on the market. Xplorer is focused for when you have a 3D environment that's important and crucial to the base of the discussions. So it's not a matter of just having a video call and somebody shares a screen with you or they show you a bunch of images. We'd rather have you inside the environment with the equipment. So now I have my colleagues with me, or I can invite multiple users in this environment. I can position them where I want. But now let's get into this menu. So from the top, interact is what I'm doing right now by simply moving around the environment and navigating. Grab is simply self-explanatory. I can grab any item, move it, and separate it. So my students get or the people I'm trying to show this equipment to, get a better inside view of what's going on. Of course, we can also draw and interact with the environment. So simply I select my part, select my draw shape, and now I can say, hey, everybody should be looking at this turbine for a reason or another. I can also draw on the environment to show rotations, to give general notes, dimensions, whatever the case may be, to help our point across. Now, of course, the highlight feature gives the ability for the instructor to highlight any component to bring attention to it. So in this case here, I want to highlight these pieces. I can do so by simply just clicking on them. And you can notice my colleague is currently using the laser pointer to ask me a question. So they can click on any object and you will see it right there, highlight red. And that's how I know that my student is making a question or a request. Also within my menu, I have the X-ray feature. So maybe my student's asking me, hey, what's the inside of this component? So now I can X-ray it for them, and they would see it, the inside components, without having to dismantle a system. Now, of course, at any moment, there's nothing stopping us from flying right inside and getting those money shots of internal components, section cuts. All that can be done by just simply zooming or walking inside the environment. So we're talking about multiple use cases, whether it's training, marketing applications, or sales teams, and navigating 3D environments. Of course, I can color code different pieces by simply clicking on them. But now let's get to the funny or the good part. Is let's go to this menu here. Whoops. Let me just put this guy down. So now we have our menu up. Now we made this expand algorithm done for you already. So you don't have to come here and manually expand it. Simply drag on the slider to expand, and from already pre-made algorithms we can decide which one looks better for your specific model and its orientation to be able to capture those impressive shots. Now in 3D this is decent. In a mobile device it's impressive, but again you can jump in this into augmented reality, so you'll have the components floating around you in the room, and by you scanning your environment you'll see them all. In VR, we can make you actually stand in the middle of this auditorium, looking at all these pieces floating around you. So it's really a interesting way to capture the attention of people and not have them, death by PowerPoint. We want to keep people engaged and entertained while we're educating them, or we're passing a message across. So now to keep up with this, we'll go to the next one. So now from this environment, let's say you've already had the meeting in your trade show or in your initial 3D environment. You took them to your auditorium where we can dismantle pieces here. Just as easy as dragging and clicking away. And just as easy as this, I can put it all back by simply clicking one back. So from here now, of course, we had our meetings in the open room. We've had our private conversations, but now let's talk about trade missions. This has been affecting us all right now, affecting a lot of businesses globally, where people are canceling business trips, trade missions, events all over the world, and everybody's affected, everybody's feeling it. And we believe the best way to get everybody rolling back on track is let's reconnect people together with their colleagues, with their teammates, with their potential clients. So in this case here, now we can jump into another lesson that's already built in here, and now we're going to do a walkthrough of a live scene. So now we incorporated a digital man, a 3D modeler or 3D focused environment. Now we'll get into a 360 video environment. Let me just mute. So now in the screen you should see a 360 video of a boat launch. And of course the idea is my colleague is there, my whole teams are here, they can be brought in here. and this actually comes in natively, just as simple as developing the video and then importing it into Explorer. So there is no magic way of creating this. It's very straightforward, which we will see right now. And of course, the Explorer currently has no limit of how many users can be in an environment. That limit's really restricted by the power of your server and how well your internet connection is. We've tested it up to 60 users, pushing it up to 100 or 200 users without too much fail. So now we're going to be jumping back into the creation process of editor, how to put these environments together, presentation together. But it's important now to take the time that if you're planning to join us in the end presentation, where we're going to invite all the live users right now, this would be a good time right now to download the Explorer software and download the project, XR Trade Show. Now we'll be able to, towards the end, send you guys a live invite and invite people from our current live stream. So of course, I can jump back to any lesson in any order to repeat the process again. So if I went to the trade show first, met up with an old colleague, a potential client, took them to my private room, had a conversation with them, had our sales pitch, then taken them to our shipyard to show them the walkthrough of our facility, and then I can jump right back into the trade show for my next meeting or from the next person I need to follow up on. So we don't want to break the cycle or how the real world would interact, where you would meet your colleagues or meet your business counterparts on a trade show floor, have discussions, and then take them private, and then repeat, go back to the trade show and redo or restart a new business conversation. So now from here, I will shut down Explorer, and we will jump into the Explorer editor, where we can actually create this environment. So let me just quit to menu. Yeah, so close Explorer down. Now we're on Portal. You should be seeing Portal now. So from here, I'm going to jump right into the auditorium lesson and jump into the edit version. So now we will actually see the editing ability live within Explorer and how quick it takes to put this presentation together. So bear with me while it loads. Again, while we're doing this breakdown of editor internally of how to create this content, this would be the perfect time for you to download the Explorer and download the project, so you can join us in the final invite, where we're going to do a live demonstration of the multiplayer and cross-platform. So whatever device you currently have, feel free to log in with that one. You don't need to rush out and get some new equipment. Whatever you have on hand should be absolutely fine. So now we're inside the Explorer UI. You'll notice that the UI is relatively familiar to other authoring tools. We think about this tool as a presentation creator that's focused around deploying your presentation to virtual reality, augmented reality, computer, mobile, across all platforms. So right off the get-go in the top left, you'll see that you have your simple to use menu, new file, open, save as. From there, you have your secondary menu, home, modes, and lessons, and this will always change the interactive banner or the tool banner on top to accommodate the new menu that you're selecting. So of course, if you select from file new to home, mode, or lesson, it will switch the banner into the right tool. So just bear with me a minute while I fix the resolution on my screen. It seems like it's a little bit difficult to read the finer writing. This shouldn't take too long. But we should take advantage of this time again. Feel free to go to app.modest3d.com to download Explorer, log on, and then download in project the XR trade show. This way you'll be able to join us in the final presentation in a live demo. Today's sponsor, of course, bear with me. Whenever you're doing live demos, these things happen. Murphy's Law. Loading. We didn't freeze, I promise. It's still loading. Okay, it seems like the screen wants to pull one on us, so unfortunately I cannot update the resolution. But if there's anything that's unclear to you or anything you can't make out, please ask in the chat, and this way we can address it for you, or even maybe zoom in and give you screenshots, whatever we have to do. So feel free to ask if anything's not clear inside the menu. Okay, starting in the ribbon on top, you have your four main ones here, which is new state, reset state, duplicate, and delete. To the right of it, you have your isolation, hide all or focus. To the right of that, you have mode remove effects, highlight, x-ray, or change color. And then, of course, hit point and label. So to move real quickly here, we'll just delete some of these old slides to create our own ones. And then we can see how quickly they can be created. I apologize, one more here. And we're good. So once we create a new slide, you'll notice that the model will go to its default position. And this will always be the default starting position of the model. I simply navigate to it. Now I am focused on the 3D model. So let's say now I wanted to do a transition from one piece to one piece. To save this last position, don't create a new lesson or new slide, just simply duplicate and give it a new name. And now you'll have two identical slides. And on the second one, I can do an animation on one piece, or sorry, a move on one piece. Another component, I can x-ray, and maybe another component here, I can add to it a label. So this is my 3D label, of course, and I can change the font size. So now, if I click from slide 1 to slide 2, you'll notice that I made a few changes. I made an animation, an x-ray, and a 3D label. And of course, I'm not limited to how many components I x-ray or how many components I need to add labels to. Now, another thing we can do, of course, is, let me just reset the slide here. Double click on an object to focus on. So now that I have the model here, we'll just show you the quick expand. So this is something that's very interesting. To create and expand the animation, all you'd have to do is here in the top left, you'd see that it says expand root. So in my hierarchy, I can go under interface or interactive models, and I will go for my CFM, expand that. Now I have my stand and my model. I'll simply select my model. When I highlight screen, I know I did. I drag it right into the empty root. And now by simply dragging the slider out, I will get an effect. Now, notice how this did not give me the desired effect I wanted. We understand this because all models are built differently and they're built with a different focus. So in this case here, we built an algorithm that you can automatically switch between to give you different desired effects. So in this case here, I leave my slider a little bit extended out, and by simply clicking on the next one, I get a different algorithm that applies. And I will stop at the one, of course, that works best for me. In this case, it looks like this one. I can drag a little bit more. Perfect. Now, you'll notice also you have a X, Y, and Z here, so I can isolate the expansions to those locations only. So Z axis, I can get rid of it or bring it back. Y, I can bring it back, and X. So if I toggle all of them, then of course the expand doesn't work, only on the axes that I toggle on. So in this case here, because this is a turbine, we find the axes, the X axis work the best to separate it. So you end up with a very quick transition. So now you'll go from one slide to one with that effective transition. Now also I can select any surface I want by simply selecting the surface. Right here. And going now, it's a little bit difficult for me to read, I apologize, but bear with me. If I go under my assets, I have my presentation broke down into a file. It's just a matter of dragging and dropping one of my images into the desired location, and this way I'll be able to import an image or attach an image to a specific slide or a surface. Now of course this could easily just been a video that I dragged and dropped, so in this case let's just do that live right here. I'll take a video, MP4 format, and drop it into location, and now when I play the lesson, this video will automatically play. So in a quick way, I just created a transition for a video to play inside my environment. Now I also mentioned that the tool has one development methodology to export intelligently to VR, AR, PC, whatever the platform you're using is, and we can do this right now. What I show you what I mean by that. So slide one, if I'm doing this for PC, I'm simply going to focus on that slide, and wherever I leave that camera position and I transition on my left here to a different slide, that gets registered. So now that becomes the point of view. So second one here, I can update, rotate my camera to the position I want, and then click away will update. That becomes a state now. So now I created 3 separate slides from my PC. But if I was in a VR environment, of course, I'd want to show them teleportation points that will activate my slide. So think about it this way. You're inside a 3D environment, and once you hit the teleport button and you hold it, you will see different yellow or gold halos on the ground. If you teleport on that halo will initiate that slide change. So in this case here, if I go into my category, after I select my slide, I will get the option here for VR. If I can find it. There it is. So there's my VR marker. Now where I position this in this environment is where it's going to be in the final executable. So when I log on, let's say I executed this model, I log on with my VR. When I hit the teleport here, I won't see a slide menu to change. I will simply see these blue halos on the ground represented in gold. And if I teleport to that halo or that location, it will activate that specific slide. And of course, from a different slide to different slide, of course, that model is still there, or that halo is still there. Just simply go into here and activate or make VR a function. Teleport area, toggle. There it is. I have my toggle area now. So now there's another area where if I teleport to, it will activate slide number 2. Now the really interesting thing is here is I can have slides represent each other. So let's say I want to activate slide 3 within slide 2. So simply all I'd have to do in this case here, select an object. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty of it. Go under home, select a hit point. So now my hit point, if you look at in the bottom in the actions, I can hear actions and say set state. So now all I have to do is drag slide number 3 into the hit point of slide number 2. And now when I hit play, I will see this hit point activate in slide number 2. And if I click on that hit point, it should take me to slide number 3. So just try that. So here we also have a preview play to show you what currently you will experience without having to publish, see what it does. Simply inside here, while you're creating on the fly, you can switch from slide to slide. So slide 1, I had the introduction on the wall. Slide 2 is when I showed the engine with the hit point. And if I do this correctly, it should take me to slide number 3 where the model expands. So there really quickly, in a matter of minutes, I've created 3 separate interactions or three separate slides with different focuses. One being focused on imagery, one being focused on quick change within the 3D model using an X-ray, an animate or a move location, and a 3D label. And the third one, of course, being an expansion or an exploded view. So everything you do in Explorer is focused around object-based. So whenever you select the slide, you will get a list of properties that you can modify. Also, when you click on an object, you will get a list of properties. So it's always, that should be the process of creation, is create the functionality within the slide, and then create the functionality by that separate model or by that separate object to really reach a deeper level of explaining what an object does or how it works or how it functions. And of course, we develop in one system and export this to all platforms. So your end user can join you from a VR set, a PC set, a mobile device, or augmented reality technology. It doesn't really matter what's the end product or what's the hardware you currently own. All that really matters is you log on and you get back on experiencing and collaborating with your teams. So with this being said, now we'd like to do a live demo of the player. So if there's any users that are currently registered that have interest in joining us for the live demo inside our environment, please in the chat, in the live chat, let us know that you have interest, and we can send you an invite to that group right now. Or of course, if you have any questions about the creation process or the general demo which you've seen here today, please feel free to voice your questions, and we'll answer everything as much as we can live right now. Great. So I see one user, Randy Spidel, will join us in the live demo. So when we run it right now, we can send Mr. Randy an invitation. Yeah, and we'll of course give Randy access to the project by sharing. So we could do this right now and show you what that would look like. So we have a user. We also have a Miss Laura Bonhart. We'll also have her join. So we'll send an invite right now live to show you what it would look like and what that process would, how quick is that process. Yeah, just bear with us. We're doing this right now. So again, the website to join us, feel free to go to this website here, app.modest3d.com, and register an account. Download the Explorer lesson, or the Explorer project, sorry, and download within Explorer the XR Trade Show project or lesson. This way you'll be able to join us right now on the fly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just waiting for a few more users to finalize their invitations. We're in the process of this right now, so bear with us. We didn't freeze. I know that I didn't say anything, so people always think in a stream it's frozen. Don't restart your TV. Again, if there's any questions that you have about what you've seen so far or what we're about to see, feel free to ask any questions, and of course we'll get to it live for the questions that we can, and any questions that we need to follow up with, we'll follow up with you. Okay, so here we'll just create a room for the trade show. Starting off in the trade show room. Yeah. So there's just a few people that private messaged us that they want to be invited to the meeting. We're just currently inviting them right now to finalize that process.
Mike Morrow asked, and Isaac asked.
Yeah. You're live. Okay, so now I'm going to invite these users right now, and as more show up, we can always invite them live from inside the environment. So launch, you should see me join now, and shortly I'll see a bunch of you inside that VR environment. So let me just first mute so we don't have feedback and echoing of our voices. And it'll just take a minute for users to join inside this environment. Once they start joining, we'll see them populate the environment as avatars. So there's our first user. Hello. So to navigate the environment, you have two options depending on the camera you selected. Of course, if you use WASD while holding the right mouse click, you'll be able to navigate the environment like a first person, or simply use the roll left click and right click to drag yourself around that environment. So just here we'll be inviting more users that joined in. Kyle? Yeah. Great, so he's invited 3 more users. Also Mike Monroe on the bottom. Perfect, so now more users should have gotten live invites. So notice how after I set the room and after I've already invited my initial team, on the fly, as we having conversations in our environment, we might have the need to invite another coworker that's a specialist in another field, or invite another person that we think really wants to see this. So on the fly, after I've already created the room, simply go back to my environment and invite further users that can benefit from this environment. Each one of them right now would have had a notification, and if they reply back to it, we'll start seeing them populate in this environment in the default position right here as avatars. Now, of course, the avatars are changeable and customizable. You can upload your own avatars. So if this is a private, black tie event, for example, you can upload your own avatars wearing tuxedos. Or if this is defense related, then you can bring in your own avatar with your own country's camouflage colors. So you show a united front, right? Or if you're team members of, let's say, a larger prime, a larger entity, and you all want to come in with your uniform, absolutely doable. So you have the ability to do that. And of course, if you're in virtual reality, because you have controllers in your hand, like so, you'd be able to see those in a VR environment as hands, and you can interact with it. Now, we're also bringing in a new feature that was requested by some of our global partners. They want a handshake feature, where the idea is, if I'm inside one of these booths, I can have a handshake with someone, and that handshake will initiate a private meeting. So I see a few more users here. I see a Randy Spittle over here hiding behind a laptop. Hello, sir. How are you doing? And of course, one of these fancy buttons, let's say if I want to bring everybody in my team or my group here to, let's say, focus on this banner for any reason or so, simply click on my banner and I can bring everybody here at one point. Let me just confirm what type. Yes, line type. And now I can bring everybody here so we know who's actually in the room. So we currently have 2 users. R. Spittle and A. Spriggs. As mentioned, currently there is no limit to how many users you can bring into Explorer. It all really determines by the strength of your bandwidth and your local server's capability. Of course, I can share with the whole team my business card or my information, whether it's question form or videos or so on.
Hello, sir. How are you doing? And of course,
I see a new user, a Mr. Moreau. I believe he's here somewhere. There he is. Hello, welcome for joining us. It's customary to nod in digital world to let them know that you identify them. And of course, I can switch that business card into a video so everybody sees a product that I'm trying to show them. And feel free to scale up or scale down the video by just simply dragging in the bottom right corner. Now, we are going to be adding a feature in the next few weeks because we noticed that when we bring everybody in the same environment and everybody has the ability to talk and hear audio and give audio back, is the room gets echoey very fast and you end up with a lot of audio conflicts. So the best way to do this is we brought in a very advanced technology that we stole from a walkie-talkie, simply a speak button. If you want to speak, toggle a speak button, and that will activate or unmute you as a specific user, and you can say your piece and then unmute. And once you release the button, it will it will mute you again. And now you have time for your teammates to hear that clearly and give you talk back to you or speak back to you. So just to check the lobby really quickly, we currently have R. Spidel, A. Spriggs, and Moreau, of course, and myself. So it all depends on who downloaded the lesson. If they have the lesson downloaded and they're registered, they'll be able to join us from these invitations. Did you find Mr. Will?
yes, we just sent the invite.
Awesome. And of course, please, if you have any questions, feel free to voice them in the chat, anything at all, again, please don't feel shy. Odds are, if you have a question about something that you just learned new, odds are other people in the room have the same question. So feel free to don't be a barrier for your own education, and don't be a barrier for someone else's education. Let's share the thoughts here. Hello, Mr. Kyle Leet. So I'm just going to teleport everybody here again, just so we get a confirmation check of how many people are inside the room. So I'll hit my teleport, select what type, and everybody should pop up on this yellow line. Hello, everybody. Now, the interesting part is again here. Anybody else joining us before I jump to the other room? I see Mr. Will Porter. Please just give us a quick update. Where are you? Did you download the project, download the Explorer? This way we can see if we move to the next room or we wait for you in this lobby. Now, of course, if you look at your bottom right menu, all of you should have this icon here. And by expanding it, you won't get an extensive list like me, but you will get a laser pointer. Feel free to click on any object that you want to highlight, and this will bring the attention of either guests, people you're meeting with, team members, whatever the case may be, in case you want to highlight an object to be a point of discussion. In the lobby, I see R. Spidel, A. Spriggs, K. Leet, and Moreau currently. I believe we're waiting for a Mr. Will Porter. Mr. Will, we just send you another invitation. Is it William? Oh, that's Porter. Yep, so we'll just wait for more users to jump in this environment. Let's take a minute here. Alrighty, now that we have everybody in this lobby, together we will jump to a different environment. So I'll just teleport everybody with me here to the auditorium room. Welcome everybody. And now from here, of course, we will jump into the second lesson, or into the connected lesson with a focus on the auditorium. You should all see a loading screen now, and if it works correctly, we should see each other on the other side. Okay, and now I populated into the digital auditorium. Let me just pause, or sorry, mute our guests. There we go, so we don't hear the feedback from each other. Now that everybody's here, welcome to the auditorium. And of course, the auditorium is built around the 3D presentation. So in this case here, we navigate through our click menu to get into our video, all the way to our video plus audio, and then to the 3D model replica. So feel free to come check out the 3D model, please. Don't be shy. You cannot damage it. And of course, here I will help invite some of you over to get closer. Come for take a closer look. And of course, at any given moment, if a student wants to highlight a component that we want to discuss, so feel free to highlight a piece, and then you'll see the whole group share and see about it. So let's try this. I have the ability to X-ray any component, so the pieces you highlight, I can go and X-ray to show you how internal pieces work. So now we're collaborating together by one of you guys highlighting a component, and then that gets attention of the instructor. Now you'll also notice in my menu, I have the ability in the lobby to change presenter. I'm currently the presenter, but let's say this was a group effort where we had 4 or 5 team members collaborating together to meet with the client. And maybe 2 of those members or 3 of those members all have a certain portion or a certain part of the presentation that they're going to speak about. So in this case here, I could pass the presenter mode into any person in the lobby or in the room with us. So theoretically, let's say if I want Mr. Randy Spittle to be the presenter to talk about a specific point, I just simply click on presenter, and that would give that person my abilities to be able to change the slides, to be able to navigate through those different tool menus, to change the environment or highlight different pieces about the environment. Now, of course, at any moment again, by simply clicking away and back, I can reset the model, so all the highlights are gone, but now I can grab pieces and fully remove them. So in case I'm trying to show how a system comes apart or how it works, I can take it apart bolt by bolt, action by action. Now the really interesting thing about this is our smart pipeline automatically reduces the development or reduces the fidelity of a 3D environment. So someone using a powerful game ready or a virtual reality capable PC can still interact with somebody that's on a mobile device or an older system. This way, your hardware limitations are not limitations for us. We want to be able to connect the world together with no barrier of what type of hardware you have. We don't want, we don't want the world to go out there and get new hardware. Simply just log on and join, get back to collaborating with the world. Okay, and of course from here to just take the final step is we'll jump from lesson to the shipyard, the 360 video, and you should see a loading screen, and if it works great, you'll see me on the other side. And by that I mean the 360 video, not the other side. Let me just mute the lobby so we don't all start yelling over each other. And now together we're experiencing 360 video. Now it's important to know that 360 images and videos can natively be brought into Explorer without having to do some magic or some conversion to them. Just simply record your 360 images or videos and drag that file into the skybox, replicating this world around us. So just like how currently trade shows and global events for business are being canceled, trade missions are being postponed, this is really affecting all of us as a whole. Doesn't matter where in the spectrum you fall into this, it affects all of our capability and affects us as a whole, as a global economy. So the best way we believe forward is to get people moving again, get people meeting again, get people collaborating again, and we get everything rolling again. So again, guys, please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Reach out to us on any of the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. We're active there. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll follow up with you for anything private. And we'll go from there. Thank you guys for joining us. Stay tuned for more webinars. We're going to break down more webinars, more information. And if there's anything specific that you wanted to see for maybe a specific industry, please let us know. Again, reach out to us, message us, and maybe we can focus a webinar around that specific industry or around that specific task. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. And happy quarantining, guys.